Number 10, Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. In 2019, several college coaches and officials became embroiled in the nationwide college admissions scandal, but what actually caused it to make headlines was the involvement of the two famous actresses. Lori Loughlin, the star of Full House, and her husband, Mossimo Giannulli, was said to have bribed college officials with $500,000 in exchange for having their two daughters appear to be on the USC crew team in order to get into the Ivy League school, despite the fact that their daughters Bella and Olivia Jade were completely unfamiliar with the sport. Following their initial fraud charges, the couple were hit with an additional money laundering and bribery charges. While they initially pled not guilty, the couple agreed to a plea deal in May of 2020. Felicity Huffman, on the other hand, made a so-called charitable contribution of $15,000, all to participate in the college entrance exam cheating scheme on behalf of her eldest daughter, Sophia Grace May. The Desperate Housewives actress and her husband, William H. Macy, then made arrangements to do the same for their younger daughter, but they later decided against it. After Huffman pled guilty to fraud charges, she was sentenced to 14 days in prison and publicly apologized for her role in the scandal, admitting that she paid to improve Sophia's SAT scores. She said, "I want to apologize to the students who work hard every day to get into college, and to their parents who make tremendous sacrifices to support their children and do so honestly." The scandal, which drew in Hollywood stars, hedge fund millionaires, and athletic coaches, exemplified the advantages afforded to wealthy applicants and fueled debates about fairness and equity in admissions. Number 9, Elizabeth Holmes. In 2014, Theranos was flying high. It was a blood testing startup with supposedly revolutionary technology that claimed to be able to perform hundreds of tests ranging from cholesterol levels to complex genetic analysis, just with a single pinprick of blood. It was said to revolutionize medicine and save lives the world over. Elizabeth Holmes was the founder and CEO of Theranos, and she'd famously dropped out of Stanford to found the company using her own tuition money. Soon enough, the company had become the rising star of Silicon Valley and was valued at over $9 billion, while Elizabeth was labeled as the female Steve Jobs. So what was the problem? Well, it was a pretty big one, considering that the technology didn't actually work. It was a secret that very few people knew, and one that Elizabeth went to great lengths to hide. But after receiving a tip-off, journalist John Carreyrou first broke the story in 2015. He started doubting the legitimacy of the technology after learning that she'd only taken 2 semesters of chemical engineering classes at Stanford. Sooner or later, it was revealed that Theranos was not using its own technology to run the majority of its tests due to its inefficiency. At first, Elizabeth adamantly denied the claims made against her, but when she could no longer contain the truth, she stepped down as CEO in 2018. 3 months later, the company officially shut down following an investigation by the FBI, and in January this year, she was found guilty on 4 charges of defrauding investors and sentenced to over 11 years in prison. Number 8, Jussie Smollett. The world was shocked in January of 2019 when news broke out that the actor became the victim of a hate crime while he was walking the streets of Chicago at around 2 a.m. The star of the hit TV series Empire claimed that he was the victim of a homophobic and racist attack and said that he was brutally attacked by 2 white men wearing ski masks. Jussie was full of emotion when he told his story on Good Morning America the following month, which was his first interview about the alleged attack. He became teary-eyed at one point, saying that he was forever changed and felt pissed off by both the incident itself and the skepticism swirling on social media. He explained that he did not hand over his cell phone to police because he had private pictures and videos and numbers on there. But that same month, more details would surface that poked holes in his story. And little more than 2 weeks after the alleged incident, Jussie was arrested and charged with filing a false police report. It was eventually revealed that he paid 2 brothers $3,500 to stage an attack in an effort to raise his show business profile. The actor was found guilty of lying to police, and as a result, he was sentenced to 30 months probation and 150 days in jail. He was also ordered to pay $120 in restitution, with an additional fine of $25,000. The incident led him to be written out of the final season of Empire, and he claims that he has not received any work in acting ever since. Number 7, Cole and Savannah Labrant. The Labrant family YouTube channel seemed to be perfect on the outside. Cole and Savannah amassed more than 13 million subscribers, as fans love to tune in to the daily vlogs from the seemingly wholesome blonde couple with a beautiful family. But the internet's collective outrage against them really seemed to boil down to 2 separate incidents. In 2018, the couple came under fire for allegedly faking an evacuation during the California wildfires. fires. They made a viral video called "A Giant Fire Makes Us Evacuate Our House," which garnered widespread sympathy from their fans. But only at first. When people did some real digging, they found out that their location was not listed as an evacuation area for the fires, and their neighbors even came out saying that the family's home was never in danger, and that the video was intentionally misleading, and they said that they were exploiting a serious situation for views. But that wasn't all. In 2021, the Labrant family posted a video with a thumbnail of their 2-year-old daughter Posey in hospital, with the caption, "She got diagnosed with cancer." In the vlog, the couple said that they were worried that their daughter had leukemia because she would often wake up in the middle of the night with pain in her legs. But halfway through the vlog, they revealed that she did not in fact have cancer, but called the whole thing a health scare. The video was slammed for its clickbait title, and the family has not been able to rid themselves of the controversy ever since. Number 6, Bow Wow. In May of 2017, the rapper was caught in a humiliating lie when he posted a photo to Instagram claiming that he was boarding a private jet from Georgia to New York, all to promote his upcoming TV show Growing Up Hip Hop. But soon after, a photo began to circulate online that showed him on a commercial flight alongside fellow passengers. The caption read, "So this guy Lil Bow Wow is on my flight to New York." But on Instagram, he posted a picture of a private jet captioned, "Traveling to BY today, SMH." Fans also noticed that Bow Wow's original photo of the private jet appears to have been taken from a website for a Florida VIP transportation company. It seems as though the rapper desperately wanted fans to think that he lives a life of extravagance, as he rushed to deny the claims, alleging that the photo of him on the flight was an old picture and that the haters should stay out of the big boy lane. He then went on the Breakfast Club radio show and doubled down on the lie, insisting that he posted a picture of a private jet simply because he liked it, and said that he never claimed to be boarding that exact plane. Ironically, Bow Wow did not seem to learn from his mistakes when he posted a clip of himself on Twitter 1 year later, supposedly running from his fans after a show in North Carolina. He wrote, "30 years old and I'm still getting chased. This crap will never stop." But it later came out that he had actually paid some fans to chase after him just for the video. Number 5, Sam Bankman-Fried. The now disgraced crypto billionaire founded one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world when he was only 25 years old. Thanks to its growing popularity, Sam quickly rose to the top of the industry and soon became a celebrated philanthropist worth around $16 billion. He was praised as a certified genius who could be on a Zoom call with investors and playing video games in another tab. But by mid-November, he found himself at the center of a colossal scandal that left his empire and his image in ruins. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, he's said to have illegally taken about $10 billion of his customers' money to put into his trading firm called Alameda Research. On the surface, his company FTX appeared to be thriving, as in the past year, it made several high-profile acquisitions and bailed out other failing crypto companies. But in reality, it was actually drowning in debt, with billions of dollars missing in customers' funds. According to several news outlets, the DOJ and the SEC are now actively investigating FTX, and Sam's friends and associates have already distanced themselves from him in the wake of the scandal. It wasn't long before he resigned from the company, as it collapsed from a surge in customers all trying to withdraw their funds, but to no avail. Sam has since been jailed and has been extradited to the US, where he faces criminal charges. Number 4, Ashlee Simpson. In October of 2004, the singer stepped onto the legendary Saturday Night Live stage to perform. It should have been a major highlight in her career, but instead it marked the beginning of her downfall. While the band began to play the song, the vocals for the first track began to play and Ashlee paused in horror. It was the worst possible way to be caught lip-syncing. Clearly panicking, she looked around at the band, held the microphone by her side with the vocals still beating out unnervingly loud. After pulling off a series of improvised dance moves, she walks off the stage and producers cut the performance and head to commercial. It was a hugely embarrassing moment that only got worse when she returned to the stage and tried to blame the band. In the days that followed, Ashlee changed her story and said that she lost her voice because of acid reflux, and under doctor's orders, she was told to use a backup track. Unfortunately, this incident happened at what would be the height of her career, and she would never be able to live it down. The following January, she performed live at the halftime show for the Orange Bowl, and the camera picked up some loud boos from the crowd. Whether that was because they were genuinely angered by the performance or just hopping on what was then a fashionable Ashlee Simpson bashing singing bandwagon, fans had unmistakably turned against her. Although her singing career continued for several years after that, she eventually faded from the spotlight for more than a decade. Number 3, Austin and Catherine McBroom. The Ace family is known as one of the biggest family vlog channels on YouTube, with 18.8 million subscribers. But Austin and Catherine McBroom are notorious for frequently being embroiled in controversy after controversy, which has completely destroyed their reputation on the platform. There was a time that they got caught staging a break-in to their home and even got their young daughter to react to the fake scenario, and they had a police officer on the scene, although that was a paid actor. They were also caught lying about the state of their multi-million-dollar home. In October last year, creditors foreclosed on their $10 million mansion after the couple amassed an $8.7 million debt. Not only that, but in June of 2018, Catherine and Austin were accused of scamming audiences to increase their subscriber numbers when they posted a video saying that they would give $100,000 to a subscriber of the Ace family who could complete a basketball challenge. That same month, they sent out a post saying that they selected 20 basketball players and YouTubers to compete. They ended up giving the money to a close friend of theirs who also happened to be a wealthy basketball player. And get this, he was not even an official competitor to begin with. So it's no surprise that they've lost so much of their audience over the years, because most of the scandals that befall them are often a direct result of their own dishonesty. Number 2, Hilaria Baldwin. The former yoga instructor and wife of Alec Baldwin found herself in a scandal of epic proportions when it was reported that she'd been faking her accent and allegedly her entire heritage. It all started when comedian Amy Schumer made a joke on Instagram, posting a postpartum photo of Hilaria holding her 3-month-old baby while wearing lingerie. She was making light of the fact that Hilaria looked like a Sports Illustrated model just months after giving birth to her 5th child. Then she got upset and went on Instagram Live in response, calling for body inclusivity and saying that the movement also needs to include women who look like her. But in the heat of the moment during the 4-minute video, Hilaria forgot to speak in the Spanish accent that she's been putting on for close to a decade. This resulted in a massive internet investigation where people found out that she is in fact not from Spain, as she's claimed multiple times in the past, but she was actually born in Boston, USA. Oh, and her name isn't Hilaria, it's Hillary. Fans also dug up a shocking clip of her on the Today Show, pretending not to know the English word for cucumber. Eventually, she started backpedaling like crazy and claimed that she first visited Spain when she was a baby, and her family returned at least once every year. But she declines to specify how much time she spent there altogether. So the only thing that we know for sure is that she's very clearly exaggerated the truth of just how Spanish she really is. And coming in at number 1, Steve Rannazzisi. In interviews, the comedian would often say that he survived the events of 9/11 and said that his near-death experience influenced his decision to get into the world of entertainment. He created his own backstory, saying that he worked for Merrill Lynch at the World Trade Center and was fortunate enough to escape the tragedy. Soon after that, he apparently moved to LA, got into stand-up, and became a cast member of the sitcom The League. He obviously claimed to have escaped the tragedy, but throughout the years, details about his 9/11 survival story seemed to change. He went from claiming that he was jostled all over the place while working in the South Tower when the first plane hit the North Tower, to backpedaling and claiming that he was outside the whole time, because he said that he was working downtown. At this point, he was gradually downplaying his whole story, but when an investigative report from the New York Times uncovered the truth, he finally owned up to it, saying, "I don't know why I said this. This was inexcusable. I am truly sorry." That same day the story came out, Steve tweeted his apology for letting the lies spiral out of control. He wrote, "For many years, more than anything, I have wished that with silence, I could somehow erase a story told by an immature young man. It only made me more ashamed." Weeks later, he went on Howard Stern and admitted to his mistake once again, saying that he just wanted to be accepted by other famous comedians when he first moved to LA. Although he apologized, he was never truly able to live down the scandal.
And at number 5, Gabby Hannah. Gabby Hannah was called out big time for allegedly scamming her fans after she promoted makeup brushes on her channel that were not good quality. The company in question was Kenza Cosmetics. Fellow influencer Tana Mongeau had also promoted the company on her social media accounts, which made many fans decide to purchase the brushes. In her video, Gabby said that the brushes were free and you only paid for the shipping, which was $10. The brush set came with 10 different brushes, which made each brush $1 each, which seemed like a good deal to Hannah. After many of Gabby's fans started purchasing the products, they started to get disappointed when the brushes didn't arrive after a few weeks. The backlash got so bad at one point that Gabby was labeled a scammer who lied to her fans and promoted a scam for her fans to buy. After the outrage against Gabby, she decided to address it all in a video. She first spoke about her vetting process for sponsors and claimed that she turns down countless requests because she only wants to promote good products to her fans. She also went on to describe that Kenza is not a scam and that long shipping times were part of the deal for the cheap brushes, especially because they would have an uptick in orders after Gabby's promotion. Gabby even said in her video that fans that accused the products of being a scam ended up receiving their brushes weeks later. However, she got some hot water when she defended herself by claiming that her followers should, quote, manage their expectations with brushes of that value, adding that if her followers wanted high quality brushes, they would need to pay high quality prices. People were outraged by this opinion and called out Gabby for not taking more care of the products that she promotes. Also, many of her fans are younger and expected the brushes to be good quality like Gabby claimed. It's not their fault they decided to, listen to her. After receiving massive backlash from her fans, Gabby deleted that response video. And even though Gabby is right and it wasn't technically a scam, that doesn't mean it's a good company to encourage your followers to buy from. It was discovered later that Kenza Cosmetics is a drop shipping company and their suppliers in China deliver products to Kenza's customers all around the world for an upcharge, meaning that Kenza actually holds no inventory on their floors and customers are at the mercy of some other supplier that they don't even deal with. In at number 4, Tana Mongeau. Tana Mongeau could be on this list for multiple scandals, as she's been called out for lying to her fans on plenty of occasions over the years. But probably the most lying that Tana has ever done took place in 2020. Firstly, even though Tana has problems with coughing, she still decided to party throughout the entire pandemic. She was one of the many influencers called out for going to Lil Ray's birthday party at the Hype House in the beginning of the pandemic. Fans immediately called her out for the partying, but she just brushed it off. Then weeks later, she got into a much bigger scandal involving Erica Costell. Basically, the pair were at a party, of course with no masks on, and they decided to make an Instagram story saying into the camera, quote, "Listen, we don't effing care." Most people assume that this statement was in reference to the drama that the girls had been in, but Tana and Erica both got insane amounts of backlash. Tana specifically was called out because people thought she was clapping back to the people who had been calling her out for the partying and saying that, she doesn't care about the hate essentially. Tana later apologized on her Instagram story and claimed that she would stop partying for good. But anyone that follows Tana knows that that didn't actually happen. And only a few weeks later, she was seen out partying yet again, blatantly lying to her fans that were looking out for her safety. Like, she literally has asthma and a horrible, horrible cough. Why are you the one partying during a deadly pandemic? I don't understand. In at number 3, I'm Jay Station. There's no way I could make this list and not include Jay Station, because he lied about his girlfriend being dead so that he could use it for content. Literal trash. Real name Jason Ether claimed that his girlfriend passed away because she was hit by a drunk driver. After announcing her passing on their joint channel, he went to her grave and performed one of his infamous 3 a.m. videos to try and contact her with a Ouija board, knowing full well that she was alive. After fans got to the bottom of things, Jason decided to come on his channel and clarify everything. He claimed that Alexia was in on the stunt so that they would get more subscribers to their channel. However, days later, Alexia uploaded her own video on the situation, and in that video, she alleged that Ether was paranoid and controlling throughout their relationship, saying that she didn't want to participate in the hoax. Weeks after all this drama, Jay Station was actually arrested by police because Alexia claimed that he threatened her with a weapon. After everything, Jason said, quote, "I got a warrant out for something I didn't do. My girlfriend left me. The videos are gone. Our dream team channel is over with. And I don't know what to do. Maybe stop making trashy videos on the internet." Yeah. In at number 2, Sarah McDaniel. Sarah McDaniel is an Instagram model that got exposed for faking an eye condition called heterochromia. That's when your eyes are 2 different colors. McDaniel first became popular when she was chosen to be on the first ever cover of the rebranded Playboy. McDaniel was already popular on Instagram at that point. In interviews to promote the issue, McDaniel talked about growing up with heterochromia, which is an eye condition that makes your irises different colors. However, her big moment didn't last too long. An Instagram account Celebface, known for exposing the photoshopping of celebrities, revealed that she was faking her condition all along. Celebface posted a series of photos that seemed to show the color of McDaniel's blue eyes changing over time. The blue eye color always seemed to be a little bit different, and the darkness around her iris also changed often as well, making it clear the eye was changing due to Instagram editing or color contacts. There was even a picture posted from her childhood where McDaniel had 2 perfectly brown eyes, no blue in sight. The caption on the photo read, quote, reality and ordinary liar who had an eye color surgery and tells everyone about her real heterochromia now. Responding to the claims that she's a liar, McDaniel told Elle, quote, "I do have heterochromia. I guess my eyes sometimes look different in different light or with different camera quality." I'm not buying that for one single second. It literally went from regular blue to like turquoise blue. How does that even happen? And finally, number 1, Corinna Kopf. This story is the most recent, involving Vlog Squad member Corinna Kopf, who recently started an OnlyFans. She later said in one of David Dobrik's vlogs that she ended up making a little over $1 million in 48 hours because of her launch. However, in the midst of all this, Corinna was labeled a scammer, with the people that purchased her OnlyFans saying that she just posted the same photos that are already on Instagram. Many people took their frustrations to Twitter, calling out Corinna for lying about the kind of content that could be expected. However, Corinna quickly responded and claimed that more would be coming to the platform soon, writing on Twitter, quote, "People who think my OnlyFans is about to be just Instagram content, you're dead wrong. If I posted everything right out the gate, it would just get leaked. Just wait." I guess there's no telling what the future holds with this one, but people that subscribe to her page will have to wait and see.
Starting things off at number 10, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm not sure how we got this far and didn't include Tekashi, who aside from a rapper, troll, and snitch, is definitely an influencer. When people talk about you as much as they've talked about this guy, you've reached influencer status. Either way, Tekashi obviously lied about his affiliations with certain people, completely flipping on them all when pursued in court. Granted, they did do things to him prior that I don't blame him necessarily for not respecting his former friends. That being said, as we know time and time again, Tekashi has found ways to trend and make headlines simply by doing dumb things, saying dumb things, or exposing people. However, while trying to act like he was out in the streets of Chicago while beefing with various Chicago rappers, it would turn out he actually had a whole crew and security team with him, literally just feet away, even though he was acting like he was out there all alone. Turns out he wasn't necessarily as bold as originally trying to let off to be. On to number 9, we got Lil Tay. You guys remember the youngest flexer of the century? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Although Lil Tay's Instagram and social media presence would go completely quiet until quite recently, which we'll get into in a little bit, it seemed she was really making a name for herself. Being seen with the likes of Jake Paul and Tekashi 6ix9ine, Lil Tay would soon be exposed after a leaked video in 2019 showed her brother, Jason Tian, directing her in what to say and do. That same year, it would be discovered that all the homes and cars that Lil Tay was flexing in were actually the property of Lil Tay's mother's clients. Her mother, Angela, would end up losing her real estate job because of this. However, Lil Tay, real name Claire Eileen Key Hope, has always maintained it's just been her. Now, bringing things up to date, as of the last week or so, a handful of Lil Tay's posts have been brought back on Instagram. Tons of more recent posts are now accusing Lil Tay's father, Chris Hope, and his wife of not only mistreating Lil Tay while she has been in their custody, but also stealing all of her money. The posts reference a GoFundMe set up by Tay's brother, which some people feel is a scam and others think is the real deal. As of this recording, it has raised just under $16,000 of the $150,000 goal. Now at number 8, we got Joey Salads. You guys may know him as Joseph Saladino if you live in New York, where he is trying to be a politician, specifically within the Republican Party. I shouldn't really say trying because he is one, but unfortunately, he hasn't seen much success as he recently ran for New York's 11th congressional district, even though he has no political experience, and after raising about $66,000, he withdrew. Some think he did it just to grow his brand, you know, kind of like free publicity. Either way, prior to all this, back in 2016, Salads would post a video titled, I quote, "Trump car destroyed in black neighborhood social experiment." The video itself showed a car sitting in a parking lot with pro-Trump stickers and flags or signage all around it. After a few minutes of people walking by in the video, all black of course, pulling some of said promotional items off, a handful of black men begin bashing the car, destroying the windows, smashing the hood of the car. You guys get it. Joey ends the video saying that the black community is very violent towards Donald Trump and all of his supporters. It was really bad, and after receiving a ton of backlash and getting exposed, he would admit that he actually hired actors to smash up the car, which is pretty unbelievable. He would then remove the video and then repost it with fake video at the end of the title, letting everyone know that obviously it's a setup, not real, like he did before, and also claimed that he wanted to own up to his mistake and move on from it, which I think he's just an idiot. Number 7, we got the Kardashians. I don't even have one specific time where the Kardashians lied about something and then were caught. Like, there's so many that most recently, of course, there was a bikini photo of Khloe or Kendall's little Instagram mishap, which appeared to be photoshopped, showing her wearing that very tiny red bikini. Of course, there have been plenty of photos of the Kardashians showing potential edits and photoshops in their pictures, but at the end of the day, they're kind of just paid to always look good, so I understand why they do what they do. Although I don't necessarily agree with it, there's a reason why the entire family has been so successful. There's obviously a market supporting what they do is all I'm saying, guys. So I'm not saying don't support them, I'm just saying if you guys don't like it, don't support it. Otherwise, they're gonna just continue. Which, I mean, good for them, you know? If they can make money, let let them monetize their brand, who cares? But like all their pictures and videos, everything's been edited, let's be real. And they've been caught. Now on to 6, Sinead Claremont, one half of the Claremont twins. This one unfortunately doesn't end so well. Story here is Sinead was sentenced to a year in prison after she pled guilty to wire fraud. The charge stemmed from a night she went to see a friend for the night, we'll say, like a friend, James Alessi, who died the same evening. So what happened? Well, according to Sinead, the 42-year-old real estate broker invited her over to his apartment in Manhattan. However, Sinead left after a short little while because, as far as she was concerned, James was a drunken mess and she didn't want to deal with it. Before she left, however, Sinead did steal his debit card information. Turns out Alessi was actually overdosing from a mix of booger sugar and other things, which I unfortunately can't say on here, but it starts with F and it rhymes with retinol, so I'm sure you guys can figure that one out. Alessi was found dead in his apartment the next day, to which Sinead had no idea. Over the course of a few months, she would go on to buy luxury items such as designer shoes and expensive flights to who knows where. It's believed she spent around $200,000 between her purchases and wiring herself some cash before actually getting caught and arrested. Halfway at 5, we got Dan Bilzerian. We've all heard the name, but only some know the story. Being left a large sum of money by his father, we're talking a trust fund, Bilzerian would eventually learn to love the game of poker, turning $750 into a couple of $100,000, or so the story goes. But it wouldn't be until taking his talents online that the brand would explode. Danny Boy here quickly rose to fame on Instagram, posting obnoxiously masculine photos of him, usually topless, with tons of barely dressed women holding guns with cigars in their mouths. It's like if you were to stereotypically think of like a bro, this is it. And to no surprise, people ate it up. After growing a massive following of tens of millions, it would soon be revealed he was renting his $65 million mansion and was in fact months behind on his rent. Oh boy. His poker playing ability also had been questioned, with many claiming he's not necessarily as good as he claims to be, and many just assuming he's lived off of his trust fund while playing into this whole facade and trying to build a brand off of it. Yikes. Now at number 4, we got Katie Sorensen. Oh boy, this is a rough one, folks. So Katie is a mommy influencer, which I guess is now a big thing nowadays. I really don't know. Either way, she went viral after sharing a story involving her children and an apparent attempt at taking them away from her. So long story short, she made a video claiming a couple behind her at a store made a comment about her children and at one point tried to grab her stroller. However, it would be later revealed, as per Katie's original statement to police, that she claimed a couple, I quote, made comments concerning the children's appearance as they walked behind her and followed her to the car, only leaving when they saw someone else nearby. The police then released a photo of the couple and made it clear before any charges would be laid, they would need to resolve inconsistencies between Katie's original statement to police and what she said after in her viral video. The couple immediately made contact with police denying the allegations, and as per police, I quote, to date the investigation has produced no evidence or witnesses corroborating the account provided by the reporting party. Evidence gathered has served to support the account provided by the couple from the store. Some felt Sorensen's claims were racially motivated, given that the couple was of Latino descent. An anonymous family member told BuzzFeed, I quote, somewhere in her mind, she sincerely misconstrued this brown couple innocently shopping at a craft store and discussing their own grandchildren as activity that was somehow threatening to her family. On to number 3, we got Natalia Taylor. Taylor kind of exposed herself, and although she lied, it appeared to be to prove a point. Posting photos to her Instagram with the marked location of Bali, it turns out Taylor was actually doing a photo shoot at a local IKEA, using their pre-made rooms and sets to fool her followers. Following the footsteps of Gabby Hannah, who faked a trip to Coachella on her Instagram, Taylor made a YouTube video explaining how everything went down. Although some of her followers realized something was up, as all of Taylor's photos in Bali appeared to be indoors, others were genuinely duped. So clearly her message was well received, as it just goes to show what you see online isn't always what you get. So don't be fooled, guys, I'm not actually this handsome, muscular, and funny in person. It's all an act. Fooled ya. At number 2, you got Daryl Aiden Yao, a prominent photographer in Singapore with over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Yao was exposed for trying to pass off some stock images as his own. Oh boy. Upon being exposed, he would delete some images and start to credit others that were previously posted. Part of his apology included, I quote, the outrage regarding how I have conducted myself is justified, and I accept full responsibility for my actions and all consequences that arise from those actions. I was wrong to have claimed that stock images and other people's work were my own. I was also wrong to have used false captions that misled my followers and those who viewed my images. Having marketed myself as a photographer, I fell far short of what was expected of me and disappointed those who believed or wanted to believe in me. For all of that, I apologize. He claimed to have paid for the stock images and given credit prior, but that was disputed among many in the community. Now at number 1, we got Kayla Massa. If you've never heard of this influencer, it's likely because she's been in jail for the last little while, or so I think, officially being charged on February 13th, 2020. Talk about a Valentine's Day present. I know it's the next day, I'm saying like knowing your anyways. Dating back to July of 2018, Kayla would be investigated and later charged with conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud. To summarize, Kayla, who at one point had an Instagram account with over 330,000 followers, would scam her followers out of money, about $1.5 million. Kayla would post her wealth frequently to Instagram and every now and then would post opportunities for her followers to make money as well. She would sell this opportunity as totally legitimate and of course legal, but obviously it was a total opposite. Kayla would claim she needed the victims' bank cards and PIN numbers, but they could take all their money out to prove she wouldn't be stealing from them. She would then deposit fraudulent money orders into their accounts and withdraw the cash from ATMs before the bank or victim realized what had gone on. So when the money order was deemed fraudulent, those who gave Kayla their information would have the money deducted from their accounts, and when they tried to reach out to Kayla, well, they were blocked, unsurprisingly. Big scam, went on for a while, she got caught, boom, you got exposed.
Starting us off at number 10, Danielle Bregoli. Now you guys may or may not remember, about a year and a half ago, Bhad Bhabie, which is Danielle's rap name, got into a handful of disputes with fellow rapper slash entertainer Whoa Vicky, which I don't know what happened to her, but that's alright. So long story short, Bregoli tried to run up on Vicky while Vicky was in the recording studio. Video actually shows Bregoli appearing to get beat up by Vicky, at least from the angles that were released. You saw Vicky on top of Bregoli, so take from that what you will. That being said, Bregoli would take to her social media shortly after to say she didn't get beat up, even though there were a lot of videos showing the contrary. Aside from this, she claimed Vicky wanted to fight, but again, another video shows Bregoli literally running up at Vicky while the latter had her feet up sitting in a chair with no intention of getting physical. So, kinda lied, kinda got caught in 4K. Boom! Number 9, self-proclaimed Your Highness Ciao Bilio. This story is absolutely bonkers, as Ciao is using filters to make herself appear much younger than she actually is. Now I understand some people look younger or older than they actually are, but Ciao here was either doing something very smart or very scummy, depending on how you view it, I guess. Either way, she would use filters, appearing to be a very pretty, youthful lady. Now, it's unclear if she ever necessarily said her age. It's one thing if she lied about that, but if they never asked, then it's kind of their problem. Either way, she would gain over 100,000 subscribers, and during a joint live stream with another streamer, she would start receiving donations. At one point, fans asked for a face reveal, but Ciao said only after receiving 100,000 yen, which is about 12,000 bucks American, will she do a reveal. Reports claim people were donating, with some of the largest ones reaching close to $6,000. But at some point, her filter stopped working, revealing her true identity, leaving a lot of fans feeling duped and some very angry. On to number 8, Lisa Lee. You guys may or may not remember this one, as Lee was called out by her landlord for not living the life she claimed to live. Prior to being exposed, Lee claimed to be one of those wealthy influencers who lived a very lavish lifestyle and made people envious of the incredible life she lived. However, it turns out she was literally living a double life, as Lee's landlord, who was referred to as Miss Chen, exposed how she really lives. After ignoring Miss Chen's calls, it seems the landlord was fed up, so she gave an up-close and personal tour of Lee's absolutely filthy home. According to Chen, the apartment was so dirty, a professional cleaning service refused to clean it, and she had to get the police involved to deal with Lee's many overdue utility bills. Yikes. Number 7, Hush Puppy. This guy's a real piece of work simply because I just can't imagine taking advantage of people like this, let alone people who consider themselves fans of your work. Real name Ramon Abbas, but known online as Hush Puppy, it seems this influencer, like many on the list, gained a large following by exuding his wealth. However, it seems the wealth may not have been as genuine as people thought, which eventually led to the arrest of Hush Puppy and numerous charges brought against him related to cybercrimes. Although his wealth was likely real, such as the numerous cars, the private jets, and designer clothing, his job wasn't so legit. Upon his arrest, authorities claimed numerous phones and laptops, as well as tens of millions in assets and cash were seized. Sources say his birthday post on Instagram helped authorities track him down, and his arrest was also captured on camera. In a nutshell, it seems he was accused of running an online scam and pretty much just stealing people's information. Number 6, Numain. This is some pretty random TikTok drama, but user Numain, which I hope I'm saying right, real name Kane Chirillo, has recently received a lot of backlash being accused of stealing from creators. More specifically, numerous creators have shown side-by-side comparisons of Kane's videos next to other creators being nearly identical. With 2.7 million followers, to no surprise, a lot of people thought the work was his own. Yet it seems he was ripping off other creators on the app and passing it off as his own work, with no credit ever given to the originals. Fans have taken to Twitter and his personal TikTok account's comment section to call him out, but Kane has defended his actions, saying that he's just an actor who makes other creators' content better. Take what you will from this, guys, but it seems this whole thing is just getting started right here. Now halfway at 5, Johanna Olson. This one is incredible because even though she was caught lying and admitted to it, she still kind of stood by her lie. She just committed and this was the hill she was willing to die on, so I won't lie, it's kind of admirable. So Olson here is a travel influencer and was given an all-expenses-paid trip to Paris to take some pics wearing specific clothing. Talk about a sweet gig. Olson did just that, but apparently didn't like the original photos. So like most influencers, she decided to Photoshop the pictures, but when I tell you a beginner could have done a better job, like I'm sorry Johanna, but you really put minimal effort here, eh? In one photo, she's floating on a bridge, while another shows the top of an umbrella completely missing. After being caught, she would be featured on numerous talk shows across Sweden, and still has the photos up explaining, I quote, "I just wanted to make clear that I was in Paris, but I did Photoshop the background, but I'm not going to take them down because it's a collaboration and they're nice pictures. It's a good outfit." So long story short, she just didn't like the background, so she Photoshopped herself, put in a different background, but it was the same pictures of her in Paris. On to number 4, Fiona McLaughlin. This one was a big old yikes-a-rooney. During the Black Lives Matter protest, while shops were boarding up their windows to hopefully prevent any damage being caused, this influencer apparently saw an opportunity. In a video which was initially shared on Twitter but would quickly go viral on numerous platforms, Fiona could be seen holding a drill and wood as if she's actually doing anything. After the camera pans to show another man taking a photo, you can see and hear Fiona tell the man actually boarding up the store, "Thank you so much." She then walks back to her Mercedes and drives off. The video has racked up almost 30 million views on Twitter alone, but I'm sure hundreds of millions across all platforms. She tried to say it was a misunderstanding and that she was being heckled by the people filming her, and that it wasn't just a photo op, but I mean, I don't know guys, seems like she got caught to me. Definitely much more to the story though, so check it out if you guys are interested. Number 3, Carissa Walker. Now I will say this is news that broke just a couple days ago, and the information I currently have available is limited because, well, you know, it's subject to change by the time you guys actually see the video. That being said, music producer Mustard, who is formerly known as DJ Mustard, recently took to Instagram to call Walker out, claiming she stole $50,000 from him for likes. Mustard claims he hired her as a personal shopper and stylist for him, but as per his Instagram story, I quote, "Today I found out that she ran my credit cards up over 50K buying stuff for herself, purses, shoes, shades, and other stuff. This is crazy and just wrong. All for Instagram. Mind you, she gets paid $6K a month to shop. That's $72K a year. You just messed that up for some Instagram likes?" He also shared a message which he claims came from Carissa reading, I quote, "Truly am so sorry. Should have never got to this point. My temptation turned to greed and I am so sorry." As of now, she hasn't spoken on the accusations. On to number 2, Ravana. This vegan influencer lied to her followers, and obviously when they saw she was eating fish, well, they were very upset. Real name Yvonna Mendoza. Back in 2019, this vegan vlogger was featured in another vlogger's video with what appeared to be fish on her plate. After rumors started to arise, she made a video titled "This is what is happening," which is no longer available, which is interesting. A lot of these videos, apologies and explanation videos of past dramas, they always disappear like years later. Anyways, in the video she explained how she tried being vegan, but after the negative impacts it had on her personally, she decided to recently change her diet. I quote her saying, "I was vegan, completely vegan for almost 6 years. It's been 2 months since I started incorporating eggs and fish in my diet." Her video started by explaining she, I quote, "just wants to be completely honest and authentic and truthful with her fans." However, many weren't quick to accept her apology. She got trolled a lot on both Instagram and YouTube, with people asking why, if she's been dealing with problems for years, she would promote this diet, and continue to promote it if she was no longer on it. Others included a handful of fish emojis and just straight up insults. Number 1, we got Brittany Dawn. This fitness influencer was accused and actually admitted to scamming a handful of her followers, yet it seems the controversy only helped grow her brand, which I really don't understand. Anyway, Dawn offered what she claimed to be personalized fitness and nutrition plans, charging followers up to $300 each, only for them to receive nothing too personal, if anything at all. Fans also complained those who criticized Dawn would have their comments removed or blocked altogether. One former customer told Insider, I quote, "Dating back to 2016, possibly earlier, she has been scamming clients by not sending their fitness and nutritional ebooks, not following through with online coaching, not conducting weekly check-ins, and not individualizing workout packets." Brittany repeatedly deleted and blocked clients who would call this to her attention. Of course, her apology video has since been deleted, but a Facebook group with thousands of upset customers has been made, leading to many getting refunds of only up to 50%. This in itself was another issue.
Kicking us off at number 10, we got Pham. The YouTuber decided to make a little video about her recent trip to Europe, which for some odd reason is no longer available. Her Instagram post in Greece is no longer available either. You guys may figure out why after I tell you why she was called out. Pham went to Greece on a vacation, and in her video decided to talk about how negative her experience apparently was while in the country. After complaining about messing up her own hotel and flights, she then blamed the fact that she got sick on the country itself, which I don't know guys. To no surprise, most of the comments on her video were commenting that Pham Pham was spoiled and entitled, while others claimed she was simply stating her opinion, and that's totally allowed. Pham said, I quote, "Now this is just a mini review of Santorini, just in case you see the Instagram pictures and you've like always wanted to go there. I highly discourage you from going to Greece. There's nothing to do there because there's no beach. It's just a cliff. So there's shopping, but then you could barely even like maneuver through the streets because it's so crowded." On to number 9, Bondi Boost influencers. There's about 3 or 4 influencers total here, including Indy Clinton, Gia Giudice, Veda Stevens, and Shannon Lawson. Vada Stevens, maybe? Who cares? All who promoted Bondi Boost, a hair supplement company. The only issue is, in their posts promoting said product, it appears the product has never been opened. Now, of course, you could argue that they had used the product prior and were taking photos with brand new items. However, for all 4 of them to have that be the case seems a bit sus, no? With Indy's photo, you can clearly see the white safety seal is still on. Gia here also posted a photo with a shampoo and conditioner, claiming she'd used them for weeks, even though they appeared unopened. It's a little awkward. Vada Stevens was holding a few bottles that literally still had the plastic wrapping on them, which makes it very obvious she had not used those exact products. The Instagram account Celeb Spellcheck appeared to catch the funny or disappointing truth that these influencers were likely pushing a product they never used before. Shocker. Number 8, Ann Salamanca. So this influencer, who is originally from Alabama, but is known to hundreds of thousands of fans in the Philippines as Mika Salamanca, got herself into some trouble while posting a video to TikTok. While traveling from Manila to Hawaii, Salamanca disobeyed the rule that all travelers need to quarantine for 14 days as per the COVID-19 restrictions. After arriving in Honolulu on July 6th, it appears just 4 days later, she was out in public, being seen dancing and eating. Sources claim Salamanca apologized, but also stated that law enforcement told her if she tested negative, she could go out. Hawaii Attorney General Claire Connors argued that, saying, I quote, "None of my investigators would convey that information as it is incorrect. The fact Miss Salamanca has so many followers makes her actions that much more dangerous and concerning. The spread of misinformation could have very severe consequences during an emergency situation like we are in now." She ended up being out on $2,000 bail, but still, like, what a mess. At number 7, the fake jet influencers. Again, there's a few here, but more or less, these influencers paid a service in which you get to take a photo shoot on a private jet setting. Makes for a great photo shoot, and apparently to some influencers, a great opportunity to let your followers think you're living a life you're potentially not. Did someone say social media is ingenuine? No. Never. One influencer, Kennedy Simone, was called out on Twitter for posting pictures on the set, while another influencer, Azra Mian, was also found guilty of doing the same. Twitter users were quick to also show how both women quickly edited the captions to reflect that they weren't on a real private jet or weren't actually going somewhere. Of course, after they were called out. Strange time, folks. Let me tell ya. Strange times indeed. Now at number 6, Casey Sosnowski. Casey here actually got exposed by her own sister when the influencer posed for a photo shoot while on a hike. Casey's sister Carly took to her own Twitter account to expose her sister, sharing the photo with the caption, "My sister said she was going hiking. This is our backyard." The tweet would go viral very quickly, with over 40,000 retweets and 258,000 likes at the time of this recording. As you can see from the tweeted photo and the updated one, Casey has since changed her photo's caption, likely to save her any more embarrassment. That being said, I don't know, I don't think this is the end of the world, but I mean, it's a little silly for sure, but really that big of a deal? More so more funny, but still. She made the caption like, "Love being in nature," and then she was like, "My backyard or a hike? You'll never know." And it's like, we all know. Halfway now at 5, we got Jake Paul. I won't lie to you guys, I don't want to keep using Jake on every list, but it's almost impossible not to include him with all the stuff he does day in and day out. This time around, he claimed he had early signs of CTE and then retracted his statement because you could only see whether or not someone has CTE after they die. So I mean, yeah, not a good thing to say. When speaking about his dedication to boxing prior to his fight with Ben Askren, Paul explained, I quote, "You know, it's a dangerous sport, and that's why when people question my dedication to it, it's like I'm showing up every single day. I'm putting my mental health on the line. My brain is on the line. Like you said, I've gone and gotten brain scans and have early signs of CTE, but I love this sport and wouldn't trade it for anything else. And I'm a fighter, and people will see that. Whether it's after Saturday night or whether it's a year from now, they will see that I'm a fighter." After receiving a ton of backlash, Paul took to Twitter saying, I quote, "I want to retract my comments made about CTE as it relates to me and my medical history. It's a very serious condition that I should not have misspoken about." You think? Number 4, Jessie Taylor, also known as Jessie Taylor, duh. I've spoken about this one before, but it feels like it's been a while, so I decided to bring her back once again. For those of you who don't know or remember Jessie, she went viral after having her Instagram account accidentally disabled, although she thought it was because of people who didn't like her, or I guess wanted some revenge or wanted to hold her accountable, we'll say. This led to her making a YouTube video which would go viral, showing Jessie bawling her eyes out, explaining how she can't get a normal job and that losing her Instagram account feels like death or a murder. Sources claim that she also called the cops because it felt like a murder, and after being exposed for old racist videos, she would try to defend herself. I quote her saying, "I'm not a hateful person, I'm a Sagittarius." Okay, I don't get jealous. I can't relate to hateful and jealous people because I've never been a hateful, jealous person. So that's solid. She's a Sag, guys. It's very solid. She's a Sagittarius. Sagittarius? Sagittarius. Not Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I think. It's all bullshit. Who cares? Am I an Aries? Am I an Aries? Who knows? Who cares? I'm an Aries. Fiery personality. Fire! Cause I'm spicy, baby! Number 3, we got the couple engagement. Now this scavenger hunt video / proposal had a lot of people thinking it was planned, as there was a PDF that was sent to brands months prior in hopes of getting sponsorships. The proposal between Gabrielle Grossman and Marissa Casey Fuchs, I think, if you guys see how you spell her name, I could say it another way, but I think that won't be allowed. Either way, guys, on Instagram, she's known as the Fashion Ambitionist, and she had a lot of people talking back in 2019, as she appeared to be genuinely surprised by the proposal as it played out in real time, but many didn't believe it. The 3-day event, which saw Marissa go from New York to Miami to Paris, would end with a live stream proposal, which Marissa admitted at one point she had a feeling may have been the case. Still, she swore she knew nothing of the planned proposal, although the deck that was shared looked incredibly professional, and although there was some brands involved, they were all companies Marissa had previously worked with. It was a very strange situation, with Gabriel claiming he just wanted to do something nice, and a lot of people questioning if it was legit or not. As far as they're concerned, it was totally legit. She had no idea, and Gabriel set everything up with the help of a few friends, but really, who knows? At number 2, Jenny Ambula. Well, this influencer's page is no longer available, and that's likely because she was arrested and charged, along with her father, Omar, who was a border agent in Colombia. Story here is that Omar, who worked as a mid-level customs agent, would allow untaxed goods into the country for bribes, which he would then send to his daughter, Jenny. Jenny would use that money to buy designer clothing and very flashy cars while in Miami, and then post her new purchases on Instagram, which is actually what led to the Colombian authorities to put 2 and 2 together in the first place. Yeah, ain't that a shame? Aside from sending hundreds of thousands to his daughter, it's believed Jenny's tuition at the University of Miami was also paid for using these funds, but I don't think anyone knows what happened to that money. You know, like the university forgot about it, the government forgot about it. It's very interesting. They seized the assets, but that government funded money, no one knows where it went. Now at number 1, Carolyn Calloway. This was a big old mess, as the influencer known for her writing tried to do a little tour of her own for $165 a ticket, and it was a total mess. Offering a creative workshop, as she called it, Calloway promised the ticket would include a 4-hour seminar with a coffee, a personalized journal, a care package, and a presentation on the emotional and spiritual dimensions of making art and building your social media brand, as per the New York Post. Originally planned with stops in New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and London, Calloway would end up relocating the Boston, Chicago, and Philly events to Brooklyn due to awful planning. Those who attended in Washington and New York were very disappointed, leading to Calloway to take to Twitter in a now deleted tweet, reading, I quote, "I take full responsibility for letting my total inexperience with event planning and greed create a situation where the details of the tour were ever changing, preparation was inadequate, and the event did not match the description by the time it went on. I also agree $165 was too much to charge for tickets." Just a total mess of a situation, and she got a lot of backlash and was just exposed for not knowing what she was doing. It's okay though, she apologized.
In at number 10, EDP445. Bryant Moreland, YouTuber known as EDP445, was just caught in 4K by YouTube channel Chet Goldstein, run by a man named Alex Rosen, for trying to interact with an under girl. The whole thing was actually caught on camera too, with Moreland actually getting confronted. Moreland thought he was talking to a year-old girl, but it was a decoy. The two exchanged flirty text messages. And this channel is actually known for similar sting operations, setting up meetings online with men who believe that they're interacting with girls. Rosen said that he set up multiple fake Instagram profiles, including one of the girl that he ended up interacting with, and messaged Moreland on his verified Instagram account. In the wake of the exposing, EDP445 has now deleted all content on his channel with over 2 million subscribers. And I am personally just so happy that he was caught and hope that justice is served here. In at number 9, Charli D'Amelio. Charli D'Amelio and her entire family were called out big time after it was exposed that the family was on vacation in the Bahamas during the pandemic. Like, are we really surprised? The worst part about the whole situation was that just days earlier, Charli was lecturing her fans on why they needed to still social distance, saying on Instagram Live, quote, "If you're using this time to hang out with your friends since you don't have school, I'm asking you to please stop being so inconsiderate to others. You may think, oh, this isn't going to affect me, it's not that bad. You're thinking you're a teenager, you're immune. You're putting other people at risk to get hurt and be in pain." But it seemed that Charli was not abiding by her own guidelines, because the family also brought along Noah Beck, Chase Hudson, and Maddie Monroe on the trip as well. The sisters tried to hide the trip by not posting about it on their own social media accounts, but TikTok Room caught them in 4K. In at number 8, Hilaria Hilaria Baldwin. Hilaria Baldwin was recently exposed for lying about her Spanish heritage, now that old clips are resurfacing where she faked using a Spanish accent. It started when one tweet went viral, saying, quote, "You have to admire Hilaria Baldwin's commitment to her decade-long grift where she impersonates a Spanish person." And the replies of that savage tweet were filled with tons of videos of Hilaria using a Spanish accent and claiming that she was from Spain. However, internet sleuths got to the truth, and she actually isn't Spanish at all. Her parents literally just vacationed in Spain a lot when she was growing up. Also, the worst part, Hilaria isn't even her real name. Her name is just Hillary. One clip that went super viral was of her cooking a meal and forgetting the English word for cucumber while speaking in a Spanish accent. And at number 7, James Charles. James Charles was recently exposed for engaging with over Snapchat. And the worst part was that when he was first called out, he tried to shame the accusers and act like they had all duped him and lied about their ages. However, when more and more allegations came out, it was clear that many of the accusers had their ages right on their social media profiles, easily visible. Or it was just easy to find after a small bit of sleuthing. After being fully caught in 4K, James ended up apologizing and admitting to the behavior that he was accused of. His excuse was that he was desperate for love and ignored red flags. But with all the proof that is mounted against him, it's clear that he uses his fame and power to prey on boys. In at number 6, Tana Mongeau. Tana Mongeau was recently called out for lying. Twitter account Def Noodles posted that she had been kicked out of a bar in LA called The Abbey because she was filming someone who was receiving medical attention. Def Noodles even included a video of Tana fighting with security. But Tana, of course, did not like this and responded back, quote, "This is not at all what happened. We left because everyone had to due to an emergency inside. You can't just slander people based on assumptions, Def Noodles LMAO." Then in response to that, he hit back with another video of Tana showing that nobody else was leaving the bar other than Tana and her posse that were getting kicked out. The account also included a story from one of Tana's friends that said that they were escorted out. So clearly, like, enough proof to know that that's what actually happened. Halfway at number 5, Jeff Wittek. So Jeff Wittek was recently exposed for hiding what happened with his eye. Of course, I'm not blaming him whatsoever for this. He deserves to control the narrative of his own story. When Jeff first revealed that he had badly hurt himself, he never told the reason why, and when pressured about it, he gave multiple different answers. One time he claimed that he was in a car accident. Another time he claimed that he was robbed, leaving fans wondering if the entire thing was actually just fake. But through his docuseries, he recently exposed that he hurt himself very badly doing a stunt for one of David Dobrik's vlogs. He also exposed that David was the person who caused the accident. And if you guys haven't seen that, I highly recommend you do. Amazing, amazing docuseries. And at number 4, Gabby Hannah. Gabby Hannah is in yet another feud, this time fighting with fellow influencer Trisha Paytas. Honestly, I'm not even entirely sure like what led up to this, but Gabby called out Trisha for lying about the fact that they were not good friends. I know it's a strange one, but apparently Gabby claimed that they were good friends, Trisha said that they weren't. That was kind of the vibe. And Gabby tried to expose this by showing a text message conversation between them where Trisha actually said, quote, "I'm tired of the internet not knowing that we are friends." But after that, the internet started showing old clips of Gabby's where she says multiple different times that her and Trisha are not actually good friends. And of course, this is totally a dumb thing to even be arguing about, but it's definitely a, diss you moment. And at number 3, Addison Rae. Addison Rae, like a lot of other celebrities, has complained about the paparazzi hounding her in the past. But she was recently exposed for actually tipping off the paparazzi herself. This is apparently what the Kardashians did to get famous back in the day. While Addison was out in New York, she was getting photographed all over town, even though she wasn't staying in a paparazzi-heavy hotel. Page 6 was told that Addison was mostly hoping for the paparazzi to take pictures of her outfits. I guess she's trying to elevate her style game. It's assumed that Addison got this tip from the Kardashians as she's newly BFFs with Kourtney, which is really just a whole other topic of conversation that we won't be getting into now. In at number 2, Andreas Lopez. Andreas Lopez was recently exposed for hooking up with a and he didn't even have a chance to deny it, as a video of him on a phone call with the mother of the accuser started going viral as the accusation came out. On the phone call, you can hear Andreas telling the mother his age. The mother then says the girl's age of 14. The mother even says that Andreas could go to jail for his actions. Near the end of the call, the mother tells Andreas to meet up with her so they can talk more about the situation, which we're assuming that they did later on. Andreas's lawyers later commented on the situation, saying it was entrapment and the whole thing was done to set him up. But either way, the situation is still very And finally at number 1, Nikita Dragun. Trisha Paytas and Nikita Dragun got into a huge feud a few weeks ago, where they were both exposing tons of old clips of each other. It started when Nikita tweeted out about the upcoming season of her Snapchat show, and Trisha replied, quote, on Snapchat with a laugh face. Of course, making fun of the fact that her show was being featured on essentially a dying platform. But Nikita clapped back, quote, 30 million viewers and a billboard on Sunset. But anyways, let me go back to filming my Netflix show. And after that, everyone was just really surprised about her announcement that she was going to be getting a Netflix show. But it recently came out that Nikita was not actually going to be having her own show, but instead it was actually a show about the Hype House, which most people didn't even know that Nikita was a part of. Drama channel Adam McIntyre responded to that news saying, quote, please, I'm just remembering Nikita was bragging to Trisha about being on Netflix, but in reality, it was the Hype House show. Yeah, I think we all have the same thoughts about that situation.
At number 10, dogs don't have brains. So, 6 years ago, Trisha posted a video with the title, Do Dogs Even Have Brains? And she pondered the question with the fact that dogs can't talk, and then talked about her possible intuition that dogs weren't a creature of God. Questionable. And then in 2015, she had an interview with Business Insider. And then in that interview, she admitted to trolling and saying outlandish things on YouTube for clicks. So the two examples she gave as trolling videos were Dogs Don't Have Brains and I'm voting for Mitt Romney. So she admitted to outright lying or trolling on YouTube. And she thought dumbing herself down would get more views. And well, that video does sit at 4 million views, so maybe there's a little bit of truth to her stretching the truth to get views. I'm just saying. At number 9, lying about her job. Back in 2012, Trisha appeared on America's Got Talent as a rapper. And we're not stopping there at rapper, we will get to that later. While she was speaking quickly offbeat to music in the background, rapping, her occupation then turned up on screen, and it said, computer programmer. Just, are you kidding me? Can you honestly, just kudos to her for keeping a straight face after knowing that was gonna pop up, but can you even imagine her as a computer programmer? I can hear her nails clacking against the keys already. That noise, just anyways, after her abysmal performance, she said right away that she wasn't even a rapper, but that she was really there to meet Howard Stern. But really, Trisha, how are you gonna do Howie like that? Howie Mandel? No? Little props to him? Nothing. Okay, never mind. At number 8, we have lies about Nash. So, in a video, Trish said her ex went from broke to rich and dumped her. Now, the ex she was referring to in that video was Jason Nash. But the thing is, that wasn't the reason Jason dumped her. So, according to what most people are saying, what did happen was she filmed an expose on his entire friend group. And we know this is true. She did multiple videos. And I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want anyone I was seeing to talk smack about all of my friends, let alone to the internet. At that point, it's not even talking behind someone's back as much as it's using a megaphone right behind them and shouting, I don't like your friends. That kind of gives reason to not get back together. But let's move on to number 7, we have pregnancy. In a video from August 2017, she said that she had been pregnant. But then there was a video under a year later with Jeffree Star that she said she wasn't pregnant. Now that one came out in April 2018. In some more recent videos, she talked more about pregnancy again, but that doesn't explain the blip in that timeline. Was she lying to Jeffree Star at that point, or did she just forget that she had possibly been pregnant? Or had she even been pregnant? We don't know. But let's move on to number 6. We have her calling Patreon cringy. At the end of the video, as I said, I'll have a rough calculation of how much Trisha makes on Patreon, but we can guess it's not nothing. And then a while back, she called Patreon cringy. This is obviously before she had Patreon. And yeah, sure, maybe her opinions changed, but that's totally valid. But the thing is, she went a complete 180. She went from saying it's cringy to ask for money, and now she sells sexy content as one of her primary forms of income. And that's where it gets hypocritical. At least I would think. But let's move on to number 5. We have gay baiting. Now, not everyone has the same experience as others when it comes to coming to terms with your sexuality and coming to know yourself more. The issue people see with Trisha when you see the comments on her videos is her history. She is known for trolling YouTube for more clicks and views, so while it's alright to come and share your side of the story, like Trisha saying this, it becomes cheapened when it's seen as a way to make money. Like, just look at her thumbnail for Why I Retired from Being Gay. She's wearing a paper bag on her head. And then also the title, Retiring from Being Gay. At that point, I have no words. At number 4, we have her calling herself a chicken nugget. Now, I'm gonna start saying this starts out just super freaking relatable. She has a video titled, I'm a chicken nugget from December 2016. And it reminds me of that Vine. I may look like a burnt chicken nugget, but I still love myself. But Trisha, honey, what are you doing? Like, just listen to some of what she was saying. When you feel like a chicken nugget, you feel like not delicious. Well, you feel delicious, but you also feel like
fried and fake on the inside. And yes, while that sounds like some fun Rupi Kaur knockoff poetry, this woman isn't a chicken nugget. Because less than a month later, she posts a video with the title, "I am not a chicken nugget," in all caps. Like, yes, no duh, Trish. Just what's happening? Are you okay? I wanna know. Please. Okay? Our blonde sundoll M4J, we'll get it someday. But let's move on to number 3. We have her lying about being broke. In the reality house, Trisha got in a bit of a tiff with Dominic DeAngelis over a bed. He said, "I want you to have the bed, just give me $300. And it got to the point where she said, "No, I don't have $300. I'm broke. I have no money." And you already see where the issue comes in this. So then later, when their fight is escalating, he yells out, "Your net worth is $2 million. And she corrects him at the same level of yelling and says that her net worth is $25 million, and then adds, "I have Patreon." And it almost continues more before she cuts off one of her sentences by covering her mouth when she sees the cameras coming in closer. It sounded like she was about to reveal how much she made on Patreon every month. I wish.
Just give me $300.
I don't have $300. I really don't.
You don't have $300. You don't have $300.
No, I'm broke.
You don't got $300.
Let's move on to number 2, the Nikocado avocado situation. This was covered by the amazing, dazzling potato queen back in May, but I'll give you a little bit of a rundown just in case you missed it. Nikocado Avocado on YouTube did a cover of Trisha's song Warrior on the violin, and it took him a lot of time. So Trisha commented on the video that she had loved him for so long, such a long time, such a big fan, and she found his video in her subscriptions. She said, "Aw, need to get together in person" on January 9th, 2017. And then she tweets at him, "Babe, where do you live? We need to do a collab, my love, ASAP. Your cover brought me to tears. DM me." So at this point, this was the start of the conversation over DMs where he said he would fly to Colombia to see her and meet up. They were talking about next week and he was saying the best flight deal was Tuesday the 17th, 8 days later, and they basically had a timeline down. And the last thing he said is, "Oh my god, this is legit happening," but it never did. She bailed and then began to talk horribly about him online, implying that he was some sort of stalker, and she had been saying that she never said or implied that he should come out. But Trish, he has the receipts. He has the literal conversations, he was holding them up and that, so that was a huge lie that she was wrapped up in. But let's go on, last but not least, to number 1, lying about making money off her video titled "I am transgender." So in an interview with H3H3, Trisha says that she didn't make any money off the video. Her first claim is that YouTube doesn't monetize LGBTQ+ videos, and this is true. More often than not, including LGBTQ+ terms in video titles leads to demonetization. The algorithm flags it as a bad term and the video is done for money-wise. But that doesn't happen all the time. Ethan Klein of H3H3 brings up that he got 2 ads on the video when he watched it, and if you get ads, there was monetization happening. But Trisha insisted that she set it to not be monetized, saying it again and again that she is willing and to show her accounts and everything. So Ethan gets her to download the YouTube Creator app and they see it is monetized. It has the yellow $ going that says it's kind of iffy but gets money, and at that point the video had made $8,000. So from that video, she earned $8,000 when she said she had demonetized it. Does she just not know where her money is coming from? Or is she playing ignorant? I do not know.